Welcome back to Fantasy Football Today, presented by Caesar Sportsbook and Casino. Got a fun slate of games on CBS coming up today, 1 o'clock Eastern. Colts at Texans, Steelers at Bengals. Can't wait to see how Joe Burrow does against that Steelers defense. Got a fun one in Carolina between the Browns and the Panthers. Welcome back, CMC. Ravens and Jets should be a fun one. Again, no J.K. Dobbins in that matchup. And the Patriots and the Dolphins. Let's see what Tyreek Hill does in his debut for Miami. To break down this slate of games and more for us here on Fantasy Football Today, we're now joined by two of the best in the business, Jason LaCanfora and Larry Hartstein. So, JLC, we're going to look at this Ravens and Jets game, and I know obviously you're very tied into the Ravens, do your radio show up there in Baltimore. Just tell me quickly, Dobbins not expected to go, still coming back from that knee injury. Are we going to see Mike Davis, Kenyon Drake? We know Greg Roman said it's going to be a hot hand approach. Who do you think will have that hot hand?
You'll see all the above, including Justice Hill, who's been effective for them when he hasn't been hurt. Unfortunately, he's been hurt a lot. I don't think you're going to see Dobbins next week. I don't think you're going to see Dobbins be anything close to the J.K. Dobbins of old in the first half of this season. And I don't think you're going to see Gus Edwards look like the Gus Edwards of old at all this season. Those are significant surgeries they're coming back from, and a lot of doubt there. Mike Evans will handle the inside run game. You're going to see a lot of Kenyon Drake out wide, especially catching passes if Lamar finally decides to throw to running backs. He doesn't usually like to. And I think Justice Hill, somebody on third down, and those pitch plays, those option plays, I think you're going to see a fair amount of Justice Hill. We'll see how effective they are.
All right, so good luck, fantasy managers, trying to figure out the Ravens' backfield. Probably something you want to stay away from until we see how it all shakes out. But JLC telling us that Dobbins might not be ready for the first couple weeks of the season, which could be very frustrating. Now, let's get to this game here. So you got the Ravens at the Jets. The Ravens 6.5-point favorites on the road. The over/under 44. So JLC, what's the pick? What's the play here?
Well, I think you have to. If you're betting this game, you have to bet the Ravens. There's a major talent imbalance there. There is the Joe Flacco revenge factor, but this was the 32nd ranked defense in the league last year for the New York Jets. And the New York Jets, when an opposing quarterback was outside the pocket, that team ran for 11.94 yards per carry against them. We know what Lamar Jackson can do. This should be one-way traffic. The Ravens should be able to run on these guys and throw on these guys, but keep an eye on the Ravens' left tackle situation. Ronnie Stanley's weeks likely from coming back. Jawan James has never played left tackle since high school. Patrick McCarry has never played left tackle at the NFL level in a regular season game. So there are some issues for concern there, but I think you have to take the Ravens.
Yeah, I know Baltimore's very depleted, but they still have Lamar Jackson, and they still have John Harbaugh, who in week one, last year they lost at Vegas in overtime, dealing with all those running back injuries. But before that, 5 straight openers where they dismantled the opposition, 177-26. And I know Joe Flacco is hoping to have a good game against his former team, but he's a statue at 37. I mean, if you saw him throw the pick 6 to Kalitra, the Giants linebacker, in the last preseason game, that cannot give you any faith that he's going to move this offense. I think he makes a couple big mistakes and gets the Ravens the cover.
Should be a fun game. We all like Lamar Jackson clearly to have a big explosive performance against that Jets defense. So hopefully that continues for fantasy managers and connects with, Rashad Bateman for a touchdown or 2. Let's go now to the next game here. We got the Browns at the Panthers. We'll have a full report on this game coming up a little bit later with our Josina Anderson, who's in Carolina. But let's start with the game pick here. It's a pick 'em, the over/under 42. Weather could be an issue, so we'll see how this all unfolds. But JLC, which way are you leaning on this one?
The thing I guess I like the most out of these options is the under. I'm not sold, obviously, on either team's offense. Jacoby Brissett, right, they're going to be 3 yards in a cloud of dust. They just want to run the ball. I know a lot of people are talking about Baker this and Baker that, but Baker does tend to turn the ball over. Baker doesn't always hold his emotions in check. And Cleveland has a really good defense with guys who know him and know how to get in his head. This line's been all over the place all week. So I don't necessarily know what to make of that. Money's been coming in all over. But I think the strength of both these teams could be some of their individual defensive play, their overall defensive play. So I don't know, Larry. I'm looking at the numbers, saying ugly game, bad conditions. I'll take the under.
Yeah, and JLC, one of the guys on the defense is Myles Garrett. He gets to face a rookie left tackle, Aquanu from NC State. Looks great and is known for his pancake blocks in terms of the run game, but his pass blocking is not the same. And during the preseason, he was not a good pass blocker. They're going to have to help a ton. But that whole defensive front, like you said, is really stout, and they're great at all 3 levels. And Jacoby Brissett, I know people want to trash him, but he had the Colts at 5-2 a couple years ago with a strong O-line, which he has, a strong running game, which he definitely has. I'm going to take the Browns in Carolina.
I'm fascinated with this game, but I'm really just excited to see Christian McCaffrey back on the field. Hopefully he can do some wonderful things for Baker Mayfield and the Panthers. And we love Jacoby Brissett with some of those dump-off passes going to David Njoku, who's a good sleeper, and keep an eye on Kareem Hunt as well. Next game we're looking at here, we got the Eagles at the Lions. So everybody's excited about Philadelphia. No surprise, they're 5-point favorites on the road here, over under 48.5. So, Jason, which way are you leaning here? Philadelphia, Lions, who's going to cover the spread?
I love me some Philadelphia Eagles in this one. It was 44-6 a year ago. I don't know that it's going to be, they're going to be bludgeoned like that. But Detroit's a little better, but not as better as the, hype about Hard Knocks would have you believe. I don't think they have the athletes to keep up with Philadelphia's option game. A.J. Brown is going to be a thing. Philadelphia's defense looks like a bear. They're going to be out to prove something here week one with all those shiny new pieces. And I think they'll do just that. And you look at the Lions last year trying to defend quarterbacks outside the pocket. 7 touchdowns to 1 interception, 23rd in the league in yards per attempt allowed. I think Hurts is, again, kind of like we talked about with Lamar. I think he's going to be able to get them on the ground and get them through the air. I really like the Philadelphia Eagles to cover here and possibly cover in a big way, Larry.
Yeah, we've seen all the money come in on Philly. I think a lot of it has to do with the Lions' O-line, which is a strength of their team, but they lose Vaitai, the starting right guard, in the last preseason game. Then his backup, Tommy Kramer, is supposed to start. He's out with a back injury. They thought, let's move Ragnow, the Pro Bowl center, over. He's dealing with a groin injury and is questionable, so that is not good when you're about to face Fletcher Koch and Jordan Davis and Hargrave and Reddick and Brandon Graham and an amazing Eagles defensive front. I agree with you, Jason. I think A.J. Brown, when you spend a first rounder, a third rounder, you give him $100 million, and now he gets a dream matchup. I love him over 65.5 receiving yards. I think they're going to pass more because Jalen Hurts, I believe, will take the next step, and it's not just going to be run, run, run. I also love the Eagles today.
We saw that in their first preseason game, that it was pass, pass, pass for Jalen Hurts, and hopefully that continues all season because we love A.J. Brown, love Dallas Goedert, expecting a good bounce-back season for Devontae Smith as well in year 2. So it should be fun for Jalen Hurts, who we said could be maybe the #1 quarterback in fantasy for not just this week, but for the entire 2022 campaign. Next game we're looking at here, we got the Saints at the Falcons. So Michael Thomas coming back, Jameis Winston coming back, a lot of comebacks for the New Orleans side of things. For the Falcons, it's a new quarterback in Marcus Mariota. New Orleans, no surprise, 5.5-point favorites on the road, over under 43. JLC, what's the play for you?
I take the Saints here, but I do it holding my nose a little bit. I don't love this game. I've tried to cap it a bunch of different ways this week and just haven't come up with a whole lot that I've fallen in love with. I like New Orleans as a value play to win that division with some heavy plus money over time. I'm just not sure how the Dennis Allen thing starts. From the giddy up, they're the better team than Atlanta. I just don't know. There's just so much unknown week one here. Because I think they're the better team and because it's, 2 field goals to get it done, I'll go with the Saints, Larry, but I kind of do it begrudgingly, and this is a game that I just want to sit back, watch, analyze, and learn a little bit more about these teams.
Yeah, this is one I really struggle with because early in the week I was on the Saints. I mean, there's no home field advantage for the Falcons. They didn't cover a home game last season. There'll be a ton of Saints fans. But as the week went on and the Saints injury report, Paulson Adebo, a starting corner, he is out. Matthew is questionable. They traded their slot corner to the Eagles, and the Falcons, get good news with Drake London being able to go. You got him, you got Patterson, you got Pitts, and Marcus Mariota. Everybody wants to make fun of this guy or knock this guy. He was the best quarterback in the preseason. Now, you could say the preseason doesn't mean anything, but I think it gave him some confidence. They had a lot of play action. They scored 17 points on 4 drives. They looked sharp. So, I could go both ways, but I will lean with the Falcons just based on that injury news.
All right, guys, we're running out of time in our first hour here, so I want to get to your best bets. JLC, you got a really fun one here with the Jaguars, taking them on the money line against Washington. So take us through your best bets quickly, but start with that Jaguars one.
Yeah, I like them to win the game all week. Doug Peterson knows Carson Wentz inside out. There's a lot of unknowns with the Jags. Etienne, how are they going to use these different pieces? I don't buy Wentz, and no Chase Young. I just think Doug Peterson's the better coach. And there's no home field advantage, and it's ugly weather here in the greater D.C. area. I like Jacksonville to get that done. I love Miami to dispatch of the Patriots. The heat, the humidity, all the Dolphin speed. Give me that all day long. We talked about A.J. Brown. He scores and Eagles wins. Also, Raheem Mostert to score. I think you can get around plus 290, and the Dolphins win. I like that one as well. And we obviously touched on the Eagles. We think that could be a bloodbath.
JLC, I can't disagree with any of those, but I'm going to one of the late games with the Chargers hosting the Raiders. You know, the Raiders have Max Crosby and Chandler Jones, and that's it. The rest of their defense is not good, and this Chargers offense, they brought everyone back. I think Josh Palmer is a breakout guy. They improved their offensive line with the guard that they drafted. They add Khalil Mack. I just think the Chargers, the Raiders were fraudulent last year. You know, 7-2 in close games, played a lot of bad quarterbacks. I think the Chargers get their revenge and cover the number.
I love that Josh Palmer call. One of my favorite guys going into this year for fantasy. So hopefully, Larry, he does deliver and help that Chargers pick for you. Thank you guys for all the great information and for helping all of our listeners win some money. You see the recap of their picks here and their best bets. JLC's favorite is the Jaguars on the money line. Larry likes the Chargers to cover the 3.5 in the afternoon there. So follow their advice and you'll cash big in week number 1. All right, we're going to take a break right now. Hour number 1 is in the books. Hour number 2 coming up with our running back rankings. Where is
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.